Welcome to NASDAQ Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at NASDAQ. Joining us for this segment, we have Sarah Maley with NASDAQ Investment Intelligence for a review on NASDAQ 100 performance and the companies that are leading the way for its outpaced performance. Sarah, it's great to see you as always. Welcome back to Trade Talks and give us an overview of what you're seeing in terms of year-over-year performance.
Hey, Joe, good to be here. So just wanted to start off today with some performance numbers. So these are cumulative numbers and they are price return for the NASDAQ 100 index. But year to date, the index is through yesterday's close is up 8.8% on a price return basis. Over 1 year, up 50.6%. And over the last 3 years, up a little over 44. But on that 1 year and year to date, we are definitely leading the S&P 500 year to date, outpacing by, I believe, a little under 1%. But year to date, or 1 year, excuse me, we're leading the S&P 500 by over 21%. So I thought that was pretty notable, but some strong performance as we move into the third month of the year.
And Sarah, on your next chart here, let's talk about the Mag 7. Certainly, we know that it's had an outpaced influence on the performance of the NASDAQ 100, but there are some surprises in there too.
Yeah, so the Magnificent Seven, I wanted to just show that they are not all moving in the same direction. So year to date, obviously NVIDIA, the leader, up 87%, the best performing name in the NASDAQ 100 index and is the top contributor to the NASDAQ 100 index performance, adding a little over 3%. We also see really strong performance from Meta and Amazon and Microsoft, but really on the other end, we see pretty weak performance from Tesla, almost down about a little over 28%, Apple down over 12%, and Google as well, just about 10 basis points. But because of their weightings, Apple is actually adding the largest drag to the index out of any of the 100 names within the NASDAQ 100. So I thought that was pretty surprising. It's pulled it back about 1.1%. Tesla right there at 1.06. But I just wanted to show that, not all these names are moving in the same direction. I think we talk about them as, this one group together, which, they've been very strong, especially NVIDIA, but really want to make the case that, they're not one Magnificent Seven, not equivalent to the other. But the average year-to-date return across these 7 names is 16%, and the total index weight is about 40%. Added all together, these 7 names have contributed 4.3% to that return for the NASDAQ 100 year to date. So I just wanted to make the point here that this tells us that not all of the return, so 8.8% in total, is coming from these 7 names. So I think that this is really the benefit of an index like the NASDAQ 100, where you are getting exposure, overweights to these particular strong names, but also there's that other 4.5% coming from those other 93 names, if you will. So really, again, the benefit of a diversified index here, driven by the NASDAQ 100.
Right. And Sarah, today, this Friday, March 8th, for those of us catching this on the second time around, we actually hit a new intraday high on the NASDAQ 100. So a couple questions here as we look at your point and figure chart that's coming up. Would you say that we're overbought at this point? What are the technical indicators telling you?
Yeah, so we hit a new all-time high today at 18,400 on this point and figure chart. It's that top green X there up and to the right. That's the new intraday high, as well as the all-time high on this particular chart. This completed the second consecutive buy signal for the NASDAQ 100, which is a bullish confirmation of follow through. As you mentioned, we are slightly overbought here, about 74% based on the 10-week trading band. So right around that 17,300 level is where we would be right at zero, so neither overbought nor oversold. But right now, again, 74%. We've actually cooled from levels we saw in February, where we were about almost 100% overbought. So becoming less overbought, if you will, as this movement kind of normalizes. But we're well above the bullish support line. We have nice support coming in at the last few pullbacks. But again, new all-time high here, and overall, the weight of the evidence remains positive for the NASDAQ 100 index.
All right, Sarah, appreciate the insight as always. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at NASDAQ.